This channel has been established for visually impaired people. For the visually impaired people, voice narration and a written expression are also provided for the hearing impaired. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Jutlandic or Jutish Danish, jysk, pronounced 22 vowels 23 stod 24 other phonological characteristics 3 grammar 31 gender 32 article 33 semantics 4 Jutlandic regionects 41 sociolinguistic 42 descriptions 5 references 6 See also Sub-Dialects. The different subdialects of Jutlandic differ somewhat from each other, and are generally grouped in 3 main dialects. These are the abbreviations seen in the map linked above, which will be used throughout the rest of the article: NJY, Northern JYSK, NVJY, Northwestern JYSK, NoG, Northeastern JYSK, MVJY, Midwestern JYSK, MoG, Mid-Eastern JYSK, SID-G, Southern JYSK, Son-G, South JYSK, djysk dialect, SSLESV, South Schleswig Sønderjysk. Sønderjysk is often seen as very difficult for other speakers of Danish, even other JYSK dialects, to understand instead of the normal Danish stod. It has tonal accents like Swedish. Many of the phonemes are also different, including velar fricatives. Much like in German, it also has the definite article before the noun, as opposed to the standard Danish postclitic article ostjysk. Ostjysk is the closest to the standard of the 3 JYSK dialects, but still differs widely in the pronunciation of vowels and the voiced stops word initially or intervocalically. Some dialects of Ostjysk also still have 3 genders, like the majority of Swedish and Norwegian dialects. Vestjysk. Vestjysk is also well known for this enclitic article as well as a complete lack of gender distinction phonetically. It is known for having for the phoneme v tilde in all positions, as opposed to only post-vocalically in Standard Danish. It also can exhibit the stod in slightly different environments from the standard. Phonology. Consonants. Standard Danish phonology contains nasal, aspirated voiceless and devoiced plosives, labial, alveolar, and velar 4 voiceless fricatives, and are present, as well as approximated voiced fricatives, and there are also 3 regular and a lateral approximate, and below is a table depicting the consonant inventory of Danish phonemes that appear in Standard Danish are in black and phonemes which are only seen in the dialects of Jutland JYSK are in bold. This table only includes phonemes and some allophones: bilabial, labiodental, alveolar, alveopalatal, palatal, velar, uvular, glottal, nasal. M, N, plosive P, B, T, D, K, fricative. Beta F, Vs, X, H approximate, eth Cj. Lot APPR. L, velar coarticulation. W, the major phonological process in JYSK consonants is lenition. This is the weakening of originally voiceless consonants in either the coda of a syllable or word, as well as intervocalically. The weakening causes voicing as well as the fall from a stop to a fricative and finally to a sonorant. The final step of lenition is then complete apocope. This phenomenon can be seen in all its stages in the JYSK dialects, although it shows considerably more variability in the alveolars. The bilabials still have the approximant in one dialect, but no null phoneme, and the velars have no sonorants, only a voiceless stop and fricative. The stages of the lenition as well as which dialects they occur in can be seen in the table below. Multiple possibilities for the same stage are shown separated by a semicolon in maps 40 and 42. The spread of the pronunciation of and are shown. The divided by represents the null or zero morpheme in the maps. The J and R are and respectively, and Q is the devoiced velar stop, while CH stands for the fricative vens and leso or regions usually belonging to the NJY dialectal region, whereas fjolds is the border region between Germany and Denmark, normally considered part of Sønderjysk. Standard lenition V stop or V fricative flapping approximant. 0 Old Danish. Standard Danish NVJY, NJY, SID-G MoG, MVJY, Son-G 1 Vens, East Son-G JYSK alveolars, null Old Danish. Standard Danish, MoG, Fjold Nord-G, MoG, Mitt and SID-G, North Son-G, Son-G Leso JYSK bilabials. Old Danish. Standard Danish, Northern JYSK, North Son-G JYSK velars, e.g. in Southern Jutlandic. Scandinavian post-vocalic p, k become word finally, whereas Standard Danish has b, g, e.g. soj to seek equals Standard Danish, tabe lose equals Standard Danish. In the northern part of Southern Jutland, these sounds are voiced fricatives between vowels, i.e., e.g. sager seeks equals Standard Danish, tabor loses equals Standard Danish vowels. Standard Danish has a large vowel inventory and contrasts length on many vowels. Vowels can also be glottalized where the so-called stod is present, and many change their quality depending on whether or not it is preceded or followed by an r, front unrounded, front rounded, central unrounded, central rounded, back unrounded, back rounded, close y, y, u, near close, close mid e, o, open mid o, near open a, open a. Jysk exhibits many diphthongs, which are not present in Standard Danish. The long-stressed mid-vowels, e skeptical smiley face, o skeptical smiley face, and o skeptical smiley face, become I, e, and u, respectively in Central Jutland, as well as sslesv, e.g. ben equals Standard Danish leg, bond. Farmer equals Standard Danish. SSLESV, I skeptical smiley face, 2SYLB, Y skeptical smiley face, 2SYLB, U skeptical smiley face, 2SYLB, E skeptical smiley face, O skeptical smiley face, O skeptical smiley face, ash. Outside of these diphthongs arising from changes in pronunciation from Standard Danish long vowels, there are also the following diphthongs, and are both present in Vens, NVJY and MVJY, but only one occurs in Ostjysk, Sønderjysk and Sidji. There is a tendency towards, but in Moji can be found instead. The same sort of alternation is also seen with and in MVJY, NJY and NVJY. Both diphthongs exist in Moji. There is an alternation between the two, but each speaker only has one in Sidji, and Sønderjysk only is found is present as a diphthong in all of Jutland with the exception of the island of Fano off of southwestern Jutland, but has different pronunciations depending on length of the segments. The remaining diphthongs show a distribution based on rounding in the majority of Jutland. The unrounded diphthong is rounded in southeastern Jutland. The rounded one is unrounded and only in certain parts of Sønderjylland are both diphthongs preserved. Map 27 shows the rounding alternation for the front, closed diphthong, an interesting phenomenon in West Sønderjysk and MVJY, NVJY as well as NJY is the so-called Klusselspring. The Klusselspring can be seen as a modified stod that only occurs on high vowels, I skeptical smiley face, Y skeptical smiley face, and U skeptical smiley face. These long vowels are shortened and then followed by a klussel, or plosive, or in some cases a spirant. See map 21 in Vens NJY and West Sønderjysk. The three pronunciations become, and they have the same pronunciation but followed by a schwa if not in the coda. An area in NVJY designated on the map as him v has instead, and in MVJY it is similar with the U skeptical smiley face, also containing a glide, and in all three cases a schwa is inserted if it is not in the coda of the syllable. The rest of NVJY along the coast has the schwa as well but a fricative instead of a stop, so the sounds are, and in the rest of the jysk dialects the vowel quality is overall the same, with gliding in NVJY Han V and Han O on the map and only unrounded front vowels in djysk stod as mentioned earlier. The Klusselspring is an alternate of the stod that occurs only with high vowels in the other mainland Scandinavian languages as well as Sønderjysk. There are two different tonemes which distinguish between words that were originally one or two syllables. Tone 1 is a simple rising then falling tone in most dialects, and tone 2 is more complex, e.g. hus house equals Standard Danish tilde hus houses equals Standard Danish in Standard Danish as well as jysk. Tone 1 is replaced with a non-segmental glottalization and tone 2 disappears entirely. Glottalization can only occur on vowels or sonorants and only in one or two syllable words and is realized in transcription as a however. In two syllable words the second syllable must be a derivational morpheme, as the historical environment of tone 1 was one syllable words and tone 2 only occurred on two syllable words due to apocopy and the morphology. Both tones and the stod can now be found on one and two syllable words. There can be multiple stod segments per word if the word is a compound, which separates it phonetically from the tonemes of Swedish, Norwegian and Sønderjysk, which can only occur once over the whole word. However, in contrast to the Standard Danish stod, the jysk stod does not usually occur in monosyllabic words with a sonorant voiceless consonant only djysk, and the city dialect of Aarhus have the stod in this environment as mentioned before. Most of northwest Jutland does not have a stod after short high vowels, and instead has the Klusselspring. The stod is still present on sonorants and mid and low vowels in the proper environment. Western jysk also has a stod on the vowel in. Originally two-syllable words with a geminate voiceless consonant such as, or e.g. cat cats equals Standard Danish, ika not equals Standard Danish. Other phonological characteristics. Jysk also exhibits a strong tendency towards apocopy, i.e. skipping the e often found in unstressed syllables, which is itself a weakening of an original North Germanic I, a or u, which causes many words to be distinguished based purely on vowel length or the presence of the stod. Most unstressed syllables are dropped and in some cases final segments, often e.g. kosti throw equals Standard Danish. Swedish jysk is further known for lacking the diphthong in the first-person nominative pronoun. Jysk it is pronounced in the majority of Jutland as but in Sonji and Nvjy as the difference goes back to different forms in Proto-Norse, namely ek and aka, both found in early runic inscriptions. The latter form has a regular breaking of e to ya before an a in the following syllable. The short form, without breaking, is also found in Norwegian, Faroese and Icelandic. In Northern Jutlandic v is a labiovelar approximant before back vowels in the northernmost dialects, also before front vowels, whereas it is a labiodental approximant in Standard Danish, e.g. vejsk wash equals Standard Danish. The same dialects have voiceless variants of v and j in the initial combinations hj and hv, e.g. hvem who equals Standard Danish, herte heart equals Standard Danish in most parts of Jutland. Nd becomes in the northernmost dialects with or without nasalization, e.g. find equals Standard Danish grammar. The distribution of 1, 2, and 3 grammatical genders in Danish dialects. In Zealand the transition from 3 to 2 genders has happened fairly recently. West of the red line the definite article goes before the word as in English or German, east of the line it takes the form of a suffix. One of the hallmarks of the Scandinavian languages is the postclitic definite marker, for example, and mond a man, mond and the man. In Standard Danish this postclitic marker is only used when there is no adjective present, but if there is an adjective, a definite article is used instead. Den store mond the big man. Further, Standard Danish has a two-gender system, distinguishing between the neuter and tetkon, et and other faaliskan, n genders in Jutland. However, very few dialects match the standard in these two aspects. There are dialects with 1, 2 and 3 genders, as well as dialects lacking the postclitic definite marker entirely. Gender main article, gender in Danish and Swedish. Originally the Scandinavian languages, like modern German as well as Icelandic, had 3 genders. These 3 genders, masculine, feminine, and neuter, are still present in many dialects, notably most dialects of Norwegian. However, in all standard versions of the mainland Scandinavian languages, there are only 2 genders. Norwegian has 3 genders, but in Bokmål, one of 2 written standards, feminine nouns may be inflected like the masculine nouns, making it possible to use only 2 genders. The masculine and feminine fell together, taking the feminine article and the neuter stayed separate. 3 genders remain in northern Jutland and far in the east, which could potentially be explained through dialect contact with both Norwegian and Swedish dialects which preserve all 3 genders. The loss of all gender distinction in the west, though, is unique to Jysk. 3 genders 2 genders 1 gender region Vens, dialect East Jutland, Sonji West Jutland masculine a man. In Mond feminine a woman, Aen Kone common gender Aen Kone, Aen Mond Aen Kone, Aen Mond, Aen Hus neuter a house at Hus article. The definite marker is also not consistent in the Jysk dialects in the west, where only 1 gender is present, as well as all of Sidji and Sonji. The definite marker is a free morpheme that comes before the noun. It is not, however, the same as the free morpheme found in Standard Danish. When an adjective precedes a noun it is phonetically realized as West and South Jutland East and North Jutland. Standard masculine the man a mond. Mandan neuter the house a hus huset feminine the woman a kone konen plural the men a maind maindine. There are also small areas in Jutland where predicate adjectives as well as adjectives in indefinite noun phrases have gender congruence in the neuter form. In SSLESV, easternmost dialect and on the island of Samso, adjectives take at ending which patterns with Standard Danish, for example, et grant glass and glasset or grant a green glass, the glass is green. In Vens njy there is no congruence on adjectives in indefinite noun phrases, but the t is still present in predicate adjectives. The variability in the examples also reflects differences between number of genders, postclitic versus enclitic article and apocopy. Same gloss in the rest of Jutland, as a Result of apocopy, the t disappears completely at a and go in glass a go in same gloss semantics. The presence of a separate free morpheme definite marker in the Western jysk dialects has come to cause a contrastive semantic meaning difference with the Standard Danish dem nouns that can be analyzed as mass nouns, as opposed to count nouns can take the article before an adjective if the noun is, however, meant to be a count noun. It uses the Standard Danish plural article dem. An example of this would be dem små kartofler versus a små kartofler. The small potatoes dem små kartofler refers to the small potatoes in a set, i.e. those 5 small potatoes on the table. A små kartofler refers instead to a mass noun, meaning potatoes that are generally small. It is like saying the yellow potatoes. In English it can either mean yellow potatoes as a whole, a mass noun, or the yellow potatoes sitting on the table, as opposed to the red ones. There is also a tendency to use hans or hendis instead of the correct sin when referring to the subject of the sentence. This means there is no longer a distinction between whether the possessive pronoun refers to the subject of the sentence or a third person. However, use of a word like egen, t own can paraphrastically accomplish the same thing. Standard Danish. Han esser sin hund, he sees his own dog. Han esser hans hund, he sees his another person's dog. Hans hund esser ham, his dog sees him. Ambiguous jysk Han esser hans hund, he sees his dog. Ambiguous Han esser hans hund, he sees his dog. Ambiguous Hans hund esser ham, his dog sees him. Ambiguous Jutlandic dialects. Sociolinguistic. Today the old dialects, tied as they were to the rural districts, are yielding to new regional standards based on Standard Danish. Several factors have contributed to this process. The dialects, especially in the northernmost, western and southern regions, are often hard to understand for people originating outside Jutland. The dialects enjoy little prestige both nationally. The population of Zealand like to believe that the Jutlanders are slower not only in speech, but also in thought, and regionally the dialect is associated with rural life. The Danish cultural, media and business life is centered around Copenhagen, and Jutland has only in recent decades seen substantial economic growth through the 20th century. Dialects were usually suppressed by media, state institutions and schools. In recent decades a more liberal attitude towards dialects has emerged, but since the number of speakers has decreased, and almost all of the remaining dialect speakers master a regional form of Standard Danish as well, dialects are now rather being ignored. Descriptions: the new Jutlandic are identical to the Copenhagen variety in most aspects and differs from it primarily with a distinct accent. Typical features are, a higher tendency of apocopy of unstressed cf above a higher pitch towards the end of a stressed syllable, a slightly different distribution of stod, e.g. vej way equals Standard Danish, hammer equals Standard Danish. The ending et definite article or passive participle is pronounced instead of, e.g. hented fetched equals Standard Danish, megget very much equals Standard Danish. Postvocalic d is pronounced or before I in certain varieties of the dialect, e.g. bade bath equals Standard Danish. B asheth stadig still equals Standard Danish. This pronunciation is not favored by the younger speakers or is pronounced in words where Standard Danish has enclosed syllables, e.g. thorn equals Standard Danish. On the other hand, one also hears hypercorrect pronunciations like tarn tower equals Standard Danish. The strong verbs have n in the past participle, not only in adjectival use as in Standard Danish, but also in the compound perfect, e.g. han har fundet equals sd han har fundet den. These forms belong to the low register of the Jutlandic dialects. A frequent use of hans, hendis his, her instead of the reflexive pronoun sin when referring to the subject of the sentence, e.g. han kejsid Hans kone, he kissed his wife equals Standard Danish han kejsid sin kone. The other sentence would mean that he kissed somebody else's wife. A lack of distinction between transitive and intransitive forms of certain related verbs like ligge tilde lag lie, lay, e.g. han lagd I sengen he lay in the bed equals Standard Danish han la I sengen. Eastern speakers don't distinguish the present and the infinitive of these verbs, either remnants of a regional vocabulary. In Eastern Jutland these words include trails annoying tilde sd irriterende og to tilde sd ogza, ika og or, in higher style, ika ogza isn't it tilde sd ika sant. References ABC jysk ordbog in Danish. Peter Skotrup Centred Aarhus University. Of Aarhus Danish dialect audio samples in Danish. See also Jutlandic dialect test of Wikipedia at Wikimedia Incubator. Danish dialects. South Jutlandic. Steen Steensen Blitcher wrote in Jutlandic ve Danish language alphabet AOA Danish Braille grammar history. Literature Phonology Dania Transcription Stod Variants Standard Danish Rigsdansk Gotudansket Southern Schleswig Danish Perkerdonsk Riksmal Bokmal Dialects Jutlandic jysk, Western Jutlandic Eastern Jutlandic South Jutlandic Insular Danish Omal, Finsk. Sjællands Eastern Danish Ostdansk, Bornholmsk Scanian Listermalet Hallands Bleckings Other topics Comparison of Norwegian Bokmål and Standard Danish Dansk Sprognaven VE Languages of Denmark Official language Danish Regional languages Faroese Greenlandic Minority languages German Romani Regional dialects Danish Bornholmsk Insular Jutlandic Faroese Gotudansket Greenlandic Kalalasut Tunumiat Inuktun Sign Languages Danish Sign Greenlandic Sign See also, Languages of the Faroe Islands. VE Modern Germanic languages and dialects North Germanic West Scandinavian Bergensk Elfdalian Faroese Gotudansket Icelandic Jämtlandic Norwegian Bokmål Nynorsk Sagnamal Trondersk Valdres Vestlands Vikaversk East Scandinavian Bornholmsk Dalekarlian Danish Insular Danish Jutlandic South Perkerdonsk Gutnish Kalix Kababnorsk Kiruna Luleå Norrland Småländska South Swedish Scanian Stockholm Rinkaby Upplandska Vastgotska Westrobothnian Swedish Åland Estonia Finland Ostrobothnia West Germanic Anglo-Frisian English English dialects North Frisian Soderland Frisian Scots West Frisian Low Franconian Dutch Hollandic West Flemish Zeelandic East Flemish Brabantian Limburgish Meuse Rhenish Afrikaans Low German, Low Saxon Dutch Low Saxon Northern Low Saxon Westphalian Eastphalian Mecklenburgisch Vorpommersch Brandenburgisch East Pomeranian Central Pomeranian Low Prussian High German Standard German German Swiss Austrian Central German Ripuarian Moselle Franconian Luxembourgish Lorraine Franconian Rhine Franconian Hessian Thuringian Upper Saxon Hessian dialects High Prussian South Markish Silesian Upper German East Franconian South Franconian Northern Bavarian Central Bavarian Southern Bavarian Swabian Low Alemannic Central Alemannic High Alemannic Highest Alemannic Swiss German Yiddish